Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my last review for the first half of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. We are now at the mid-season finale point. This is for Episode 8. It was shown in the double. If you didn't see my review for Episode 7, you want to check it out. It's in the channel right now. I'll have the link in the description for you guys, so you can go ahead and watch that first, and then you can watch this review afterwards where we get kind of our final episode for the first half that was pretty amazing. Children of Wrath. And of course, spoiler warning, if you have not seen this episode yet, episode 8, you definitely want to watch it before you watch this review. So this one finished off a lot of how I thought it was going to. If you guys saw the predictions video this week for how I thought the mid-season finale for Fear was going to end, it finished off a lot of how I thought it probably would. The death predictions this time were, I think, pretty much exactly on, for the most part, where we have kind of one main character death for this mid-season finale, and the storyline that we've been going through spills over into the second half of Fear the Walking Dead, which we'll discuss a bit more in my next video, which will be our predictions for what we think is going to happen in the second half of Fear the Walking Dead, when it returns, all that stuff, probably about a month from now. So this episode, especially the ending, I thought was really, really incredible. The final scene where you have the montage, you have the music that goes over Stand By Me in an interesting cover or delivery. Pretty interesting montage where we see Madison, pretty much, I would say, become what we kind of already knew she is, but if it wasn't obvious before, now it's cemented in 100% that we are definitely not seeing a group of good guy characters trying to do their best and trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse. Definitely this final scene, I would say, cements in, I would think to almost any viewer, that Madison is not a good guy. Madison is more like a villain than I would say a hero, willing to do absolutely anything to protect her and hers, her kids first and foremost, and then of course herself. So that final sequence was really intense. Really interesting with the music. At first I didn't like it, but then as we saw her kind of deliver the package, so to speak, I thought that was extremely well done. And you see Walker, he kind of gives her the nod. Also thought that was amazingly well done. And then he kind of leaves. So she gives him what he wants, and at the same time, I feel like she has probably earned his respect in a way that he probably never anticipated she would. He probably never thought that what did happen would happen, that she would basically deliver his head, Jeremiah's head, on a silver platter to Walker, which was, again, Fear the Walking Dead. I loved it. Very dark, very, in line with what we have been thinking for a while now they were kind of doing with Fear, which is not to follow a group of good guys necessarily, not to have your Rick always be the hero, and try to do the right thing. Maybe he'll kill people, but Madison in this one shows a different level of manipulation and kind of confirms that this is not her first rodeo. This is not the first time she's had to do something like this. She kind of confirms for us, or affirms, just how twisted she kind of is, or has to be sometimes. And the stuff she does, I think, from a dramatic perspective, is there are so many levels to it, and there's so much we could talk about with that. We could probably will do Q&As about that in the next while. We've already kind of started talking about her strategy of what she's doing with Troy, but now what she does with Jeremiah as well too, and kind of revealing that this isn't the first time she's had to do something like this. She's done it before, a long time ago with her own dad, or at least that was the interpretation it got. I also, as I've predicted before, we knew that she had kind of been hiding something. I thought it was the death of their father. I thought it was Nick and Alicia's father, who seemed to die under kind of strange circumstances, was into the drink and that kind of stuff, and drugs and everything, as we kind of heard about before. In this one, and interpretations I've seen online, recaps and that reviews I've just checked out before this one, their interpretation was that she had killed her father for her mother to stop him from hitting her father, being a drunk, being loose, that kind of stuff. So, it goes way back for her, to a way younger age. So it accomplishes basically the same thing. It puts the character in a state where she wasn't a good guy to start with. We're following a group, we're following a leader, so to speak, in Madison, that she is not somebody who has been changed that much by the zombie apocalypse. She is somebody that is doing pretty much what she had already done, and maybe the ZA has just created the set of circumstances that has brought out again these kind of things in her that she has done before anyway. So it's not like we're seeing somebody who started off like a Rick good guy cop to where he was at now later in the Walking Dead series, or a Breaking Bad Walter White to good guy high school chemistry teacher or whatever to a drug lord. Madison in her development, she kind of started out that way anyway before all this even happened, and now she's just maybe taking it to the next level, or it's continuing or getting a little bit more heightened by the zombie apocalypse, if anything. So I thought it was all very, very interesting. Yeah, they could have gone with kind of the classic guns ablaze and they go in and whoever wins. That would have been exciting as well too for the action. But I thought this was a bit more cerebral than that. I thought that the kind of the way that she's playing the game and setting up these lies and stuff, kind of like a house of cards. Maybe in the second half we might see kind of tumble. Troy, I thought his reaction when Troy, actor did a great job when he finds his dad. Very, very, you can definitely feel for him. He's not a good guy either. As Jeremiah says, he's a chip off the old block. And there's a lot of questions with the family that are kind of answered in this episode, which I really, really did love a lot. So that was really good stuff. So the ending, fantastic for this mid-season finale, as good as you could have expected. The beginning of the episode, kind of a twist for people. Maybe if they hadn't really realized or noticed, somebody pointed this out to me a few weeks ago because I had forgotten that the person that actually found Ophelia at the end of season 2 in the second half of season 2 was actually Jeremiah to start with. I had kind of forgotten that. I mean, I reviewed it and I checked it out and everything, but I didn't remember or realize after the break and now watching season 3 and having not seen that second half of season 2 for a while, that Jeremiah was actually the first one who found Ophelia. He was the one that was play shooting at her, and I thought that was a pretty cool twist, or kind of like a, oh yeah type of moment, right? Like one of those. You guys pointed that out to me though. Somebody left that in the comments, so that was really cool to kind of get confirmation of that 100%, because I didn't go back and check because I haven't bought season 2 yet, but I plan on buying it still. So it was really cool to see, Jeremiah be set up in that flashback sequence at the beginning of this episode as a villain himself as well too. He kind of shows right there. I was wondering what he was going to do with her after, because that was the part we didn't know. First he's play shooting at her and that kind of deal. Then he kind of disarms her, and so she's not a threat at all. And he basically leaves her for dead out there, and he's also a racist. So he would not accept her at the ranch because she's not, Caucasian American. She is American too, and he still doesn't accept her. So I also felt like maybe this makes sense to why they felt they had to kill Travis off, because of course Travis is, if he's going to be racist to Ophelia and she's that, then Travis may also be in the same kind of situation. Now they might have been able to explain it and say, well, he let the family in and Travis was okay because he was with the others. But maybe they did decide to kill Travis off earlier. I mean, that's obviously a huge decision, but part of that might be because Jeremiah is a racist and he may have not let him stay there to begin with at the ranch, which is pretty messed up. But it was a nice reveal to show us just how bad Jeremiah actually is, to the point where he's willing to play shoot at somebody just because they're a different color or a different nationality, and not willing to help them and basically leave them for dead out there, because he pretty much knows that her chances of making it out there on foot are not great. Tells her to go back, which she doesn't, but that she's pretty much, it came across as a very villainous type of scene from her perspective. And you can definitely see for her why once Walker finds her and saves her, that, Kaltaka, that, she really feels for him and she really cares for him. And it also made sense as to why she decided to poison the others at the ranch, even though she didn't know what was in it. And then we find out that it was anthrax in this one, which is brutal. It's like, you what? You anthrax them? Made off of animal hide? Like, how do you even know how to make that? Is that even doable? I mean, I don't even know. It's just so brutal, right? Such a harsh thing to do, but at the same time it's war and that, so it's what it is. So with the Nation and that versus the Autos at the ranch. So her kind of caught in between. I didn't really like her before as a character. So she's kind of a villain in this one with regards to that. You can kind of sympathize with her a bit because she didn't know what it was, and it ends up hurting Nick, but he doesn't die, but it kills a whole shit ton of other people at the ranch. You have like bodies, lined up, and then you have them all just being hurled into the pit there, which was, just kind of a really dark scene and really brutal to think that she was responsible for that. Granted, she apparently volunteered for it, didn't know what it was. So I did some stuff for Ophelia that I don't know how I feel about 100%. Them deciding to make her a villain, it was okay. I mean, there's parts of it there where it's like, oh damn, I hate her. At the same time, I never really liked her that much before, and kind of seeing where they go with her now going forward, whether or not she'll find Daniel again. I would think she will find her father at some point. And there was a scene in here where you kind of have her kind of imagining seeing her dad, which was pretty good. But I didn't sympathize with her that much. I still kind of dislike her, and I didn't feel like she was that good of a villain anyway. I thought it was okay. It fit, when you saw that Jeremiah was so cold to her that she almost died. It fit in that way. Then we've got Strand and the stuff that happened with him in this episode with the hotel. It felt a bit out of place for this episode, but I guess in terms of time, they had to kind of fit their time slot. So they put in some stuff here with him. Some stuff I thought was okay. The radio part with the Russian Vyshchenko or whatever his name is. I felt like we pretty much get confirmation from that the whole world's gone to hell, right? From him that the whole world is gone. It's not just Americans. To me, it felt a little bit out of place. It felt a little bit forced and a little bit unnecessary to have in the episode, but it's okay. And I guess we kind of already knew that it was the whole world anyway. That was kind of established with Jenner back in season 1 of the Walking Dead TV series. It was okay here, but it just felt a bit unnecessary. I did like, though, that Strand had found the Abigail again. I thought that was kind of ironic and kind of cool that he kind of, just kind of comes upon it. It's kind of like washed up there. And he goes on, he gives it a shot, finds out it doesn't work, drinks a whole bunch, and basically torches it. And then pretty cool scene when he's got the glasses on. You see the reflection of the flames in it as it's being torched was pretty cool. But aside from that, I would say it did feel a bit out of place in the episode, seeing as how we didn't see Daniel, and it was mainly concentrating on the stuff at the ranch and with Walker and the Nation, and that Strand didn't really, they put him in there, but it felt like it didn't really belong there 100% for me. Then we have the part with the fire where they kind of attack the Nation, and they, at first I thought they were going to try to steal all the water they had given, like take all their water, that kind of thing. They end up stealing Walker's personal stuff, I suppose, is his relics and the things that he has that are important to him. It came across as like, okay, at first I thought it made sense, if you were going to take like the water that they had given them or something, that would make sense. Try to take all their water so they don't have almost anything, and then just let time kind of take its course and just defend what you have. But I don't know, leverage, that kind of thing, it was okay. Then we get kind of the who the land actually belongs to. So we get to find out, and this was really important, more about Walker and about the past that he had between Jeremiah, his dad, and why this all came to be, and why Walker wants Jeremiah's head, or wants him gone, basically wants him off their land, wants the ranch so badly. And we also find out that Jeremiah, maybe the land actually is not really supposed to be theirs anyway. We get the sense that, he took it, this kind of thing, and, it was kind of wrong, and then he's being robbed, basically, because they don't want him there, and then he pretty much camps out, and he kind of kills him for fun. And we pretty much got to see this, and we've seen it a bit from Troy as well, too, chip off the old block. But we've also seen it with Ophelia where he shoots at her. It was kind of similar type of thing, and just came across as really very villainous for Jeremiah to do, pretty evil to have killed Walker's dad and uncle, in the fashion which he did, even though they were doing something wrong by stealing from him, I suppose. As well, killing them all doesn't really, or most of them, 3 out of 4 of them, doesn't make it right either. It's not okay either. So then we go from there. We've got the the admission from Madison that this is the first time she's done this kind of thing. Then she goes to talk to Jeremiah, has a drink with him, wants to convince him to commit suicide so that his sons can live and that his legacy can go on further. And knowing what he did, he won't do it. And then we have Nicholas, who ends up being the one who does it, which I liked as well too, because Nicholas was kind of, I would say he kind of looked up to Jeremiah in a way. He probably viewed him as like a really advisor type of person, and old fatherly figure type of thing, and maybe felt betrayed by him when he found out the truth that actually Jeremiah is kind of a piece of garbage and a murderer and killed several people, and that's why this whole thing is happening anyway. As Jake also said as well earlier, that this whole thing was really not all Troy's fault. It was actually his dad's fault. It was Jeremiah's fault. So then we got the scene at the end, which I talked about, and just thought it was a really incredible way to finish off this this mid-season, and very intriguing for me. I really like this decision to have the fear group just simply kind of be a group of villains, or be a group where they will lie, they will kill to protect themselves, and they'll do whatever they have to do. They'll manipulate, they'll do all this kind of stuff. I find that to be very, very interesting and different from the original series, which is good. If people hate Madison, I think that makes sense, considering what she's willing to do and what she does, rather than just leaving or something. She also knows that being out there is not safe either, and that you can die out there as well too, and that the ranch is kind of a gold mine in a way, so if she can at least make peace with Walker by delivering the head and seeing if that works, then it's probably worth it. It seems to work for now. We'll see later on what happens and whether or not Troy can let it go. Troy is a type of character that can't be easily controlled, and he may also not believe, Madison's story, or may not believe what happened and that Jeremiah, committed suicide or killed himself. So we'll have to see what the repercussions are of the mid-season finale later. But it did come across making Madison kind of like an evil mastermind type character, which I was like, wow, kind of mind blown from that one, just to see what she's becoming and what she's done. And oh man, just really, really cool. Mid-season finale. I want to say it felt like a full season finale. I feel like they've covered so much ground this half. It's almost like a whole season of Fear has been crammed into half a season, and I freaking loved it, man. I think they really went for it this half, and it was just incredible. I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Just a few things here and there that I felt like maybe didn't feel right 100%. Some stuff with Ophelia and that. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for me. A pretty amazing mid-season finale, and I really like what they're doing with Madison and how different they're making this from the original Walking Dead for sure at this point. Really loved it. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode 8 mid-season finale, how you're feeling about kind of this reveal that 100% the character that we're following, our lead for Fear, is somebody who is definitely not a good person or a good man, so to speak. Wow, it's pretty crazy stuff. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. I'll have the video predictions video for you guys in the next hour or two. Check out episode 7's review if you didn't see it yet. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys soon.